Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So I just watched Insecure season 4 episodes 1 and 2. Let's talk about it. So before we even get started, I have something to confess. I am a newcomer when it comes to Insecure. I just started watching this show about a week ago. So I literally just got into the world of Insecure, into the world of Issa Rae. And I have to say, I am very, very happy living in this world. I think Insecure is a fantastic show. I don't know why I didn't start watching this earlier. Slap on the wrist for me. But I definitely have been enjoying this show, all 3 seasons of it that I've seen so far. And I am so excited to go through the journey of Issa's character in season 4. So just like I did with my Killing Eve review, I'm going to be reviewing both episodes 1 and 2, and I'm going to be reviewing this show in lots of 2 episodes instead of posting every week because that is a lot of work. So we're going to be diving into my thoughts on the beginning of this brand new season, and so far I have to say I am so excited. I said in my Killing Eve review that I was slightly disappointed in episode 1, but when it comes to Insecure, they came ready, they came prepared to blow our minds from the very first episode. I absolutely loved the first episode. We're going to be diving into what happens to each character just so we can link the 2 episodes together. So first off, let's of course start off with Issa. Now she is planning this huge block party. It started off as a joke and then it became an idea and now it's become a whole project, and she is fully invested in this project, most likely because she has nothing else really going on. I mean, her job situation isn't really the best right now. Her living situation is okay though. She's no longer living on people's couches, thank goodness. She's found herself her own place and she's actually decorating it and furnishing it and making it look nice, and she's really making a home for herself. So I'm proud of Issa. But at the beginning of episode 1, we actually see that she's talking to a mysterious person and she's saying how she no longer F's with Molly. She no longer gets along with Molly or no longer even contacts her. We're not sure, but this is fast forwarding into the future. So right from the get-go, we have this theme set up for this season of Molly and Issa's relationship perhaps going through a breakdown. Now, like I said, Issa is fully invested in this block party, and her partner in crime in all of this is Consola, a newish character that they've introduced here. They met at Tiffany's baby shower and they've gotten along so well ever since, and Consola is able to bring so much to the table to actually actualize Issa's plan for this block party, because this is what she does. This is part of her career and she has so many connections that Issa can make use of. And in the meantime, Issa has this big idea that she wants to realize, and that's what she's bringing to the table. I absolutely love seeing them work together. You know, these 2 black women just getting along and working towards something that is greater than them and hopefully will inspire and benefit their community. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think the whole ethos surrounding Issa's block party is also amazing. The idea that gentrification has happened in their area and they feel like they're being pushed out, and along with them so is their culture, and their culture is always something that is picked up by other people and is allowed to be enjoyed by other people. But when it comes to the black people in LA, they're not allowed to enjoy their culture the way that others are. And so Issa is bringing that back to their community and celebrating the black people in that community whose culture is just being appropriated by others. And at the same time, we're seeing that through this project, Issa has a ton of talents up her sleeve that we didn't really know about because she wasn't thriving in her previous career. And we're seeing that this venture could perhaps help her build a whole business surrounding, you know, party planning or event planning in general. And I think Consola is such a fantastic and valuable asset to have if she's planning on pursuing this new career. But of course, there's always going to be drama in Issa's world. She can't just be living happy and hopeful and drama free, because of course the catch with Consola is that she is currently dating Lawrence, which Tiffany knew about. Now, Tiffany didn't know about the continuous dating. She maybe knew about the initial dates that they went on, and she didn't think it would lead to anywhere because Lawrence is a bum in Tiffany's eyes, which that's peak to say about your friend's ex, but whatever. Tiffany is peak just in general. Anyways, I saw so many people dragging Tiffany to filth because of the fact that she did not tell Issa about Lawrence and Consola. I personally I agree, she should have told Issa, definitely. She should have told Consola, like she should have told someone. But at the same time, I don't think it was that much of a transgression. She's just wrapped up in her own little head, and at this point I don't think it's unexpected for Tiffany to be doing her her same old Tiffany things of being so self-absorbed that she doesn't realize how her actions are affecting people around her. So that's just Tiffany being Tiffany. I don't know why Issa is still friends with her in general. She's definitely the type of friend that has just always been there, and even though their relationship is not as it was, she's just kind of stuck around because it's convenient. And I fully believe that if Tiffany and Issa had met up now, like at this point in their lives, they definitely wouldn't be the friends that they are. But anyways, in the first episode, we definitely get the fallout of this realization that Consola is currently dating Lawrence, and it is so awkward between them. It almost compromises Issa's mini concert that she has in order to get investors for her block party. She just feels so out of sorts and so insecure about her project. And in their partnership, Consola is the one who knows how to speak to sponsors. She's the one that got them on board in the first place, and she's the one who knows how to pitch to them because it's part of her job, whereas Issa's more of the ideas person, but she's not really able to communicate those ideas effectively, at least at first. But then ultimately it all turns around when Issa is able to stand up for herself and communicate her vision for this project. And as a result of that, she's able to get several sponsors on board. And whilst I really love when Issa and Consola are getting along and they have such an amazing chemistry between them, I think they could have a really great friendship outside of work, I still realize that the awkwardness of that first episode as well as some of this second episode was necessary because it's just realistic. There's always going to be that tension there because Consola is dating Issa's ex of 5 years, and you could tell that at first Consola was like, oh, like maybe they just dated for a few months, it's not that deep. But 5 years, that's a whole mini lifetime. Like, Consola's definitely walking into something tense here. And I feel like the old Issa definitely would have responded in a much more immature way to this whole situation. It would have been a mess, a disaster. She probably would have fallen out with Consola and lost this opportunity that she has to build something in the form of that block party. But actually, this season, Issa is in a very positive mindset. She's thriving. She's actually looking forward to building this project, and she's so active and motivated in it. Instead of creating a whole mess of a situation, she's actually trying to get over the whole Lawrence situation and work with Consola nonetheless so that she can get this project done. And I think that really speaks to the character development that's at work here. I'm so happy to see that finally we're getting somewhere with the character of Issa, as she's actually on the upturn, because for so many seasons, and I know because I just binge watched all of them, she's just constantly going through this cycle of making the same mistakes over and over. But this season we see that she's starting to let these small things go and look at the bright side of things and look at the long-term picture, and I think that's going to benefit her in the long run. But you know someone who's not able to look at the long-term picture? Molly, because here she goes again making the same mistakes over and over and over. Now the character of Molly is really fascinating to me because career-wise she seems like she just has it all together. She has an amazing career, she has an amazing apartment, she has an amazing dog, like she's living the life. Her fashion, her makeup, her hair, stunning, beautiful, impeccable. But if only that could be reflected in her dating life, because in that front she is a mess. This season has Molly returning with her same old boy problems as in the previous seasons. This time she's dating Andrew, or Asian Bay, who is super cute. I was like, okay Molly, here we go. Even though she was very adamant about ending up with a black man, but she is still dating him. So I'm happy to see that maybe she's letting go of this strict vision of what she has for her future, and maybe she's kind of going with the flow a little bit more, because that's definitely something that she needs in her life. And at first we see that she's so happy with him. She has such great banter with him. They're hanging out, they're bowling, and they're just flirting with each other. She ends up kissing him even though he flops in the bowling alley so badly. But then of course, in classic Molly's self-sabotaging fashion, it ends up just going meow. Before they go into Issa's party in the first episode, Molly asks Andrew if they like to go out like on a Friday, and he tells her that he's available on every other day apart from Friday. Like imagine just every other day apart from Friday. And she's like, well, why not? Why do you want to meet on Friday? Is it because you're dating? And he's like, yeah, pretty much, like I'm seeing other people. Molly, who's just been the biggest nuisance, she had to be dragged along to date Andrew to give him a chance. Like she was like, oh, I don't want to end up with an Asian guy, I just want to end up with a black guy. Oh, he's not it for me. Like all of this mess that she had going on, has the audacity to then be upset over the fact that Andrew is dating other people. What? Molly, sit down right now. Oh, this character frustrated the hell out of me. What do you mean you're upset? What? And then she even lies to him and she's like, oh yeah, I'm dating other people too. Why are you still playing these games? How old are you? What's going on? Do you not want to end up happy? Oh, I'm so upset. I'm so upset with this character. So then she goes into Issa's party already in a dour mood, and she's trying to bring that dourness and that negativity over to Issa and trying to like vent to her in the middle of this part. This is work for Issa. Like, she's actually trying to get sponsors onto her project. Why are you bringing this mess to her right now? Issa wouldn't just walk into her offices and in the middle of a conference call or something and just be like, yo, Molly, I need to talk to you about these boy problems. Absolutely not. Can you show some respect to your friends, please? Now, Molly's mood doesn't get much better during the party, and in fact, he ends up leaving without her, and she doesn't even hug him or kiss him or anything. She gives him the cold shoulder. But then we do get a moment of growth for Molly. We take one step forward when she texts Andrew telling him that she does have feelings for him that are a bit deeper than she anticipated, and that she does want to see what exclusivity may look like for them. So we're here thinking, oh, okay, there's a chance, there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Except, of course, in episode 2, there's something else that's wrong. And to be fair to Molly, I think the previous episode, she was definitely in the wrong, without a doubt. She had no right to be upset over Andrew dating other people when they hadn't even had a proper talk or a discussion about the status of their relationship, and not to mention the fact that she was so reluctant to even give him a chance in the first place. But I will say, in the second episode, she did have a bit of a point, because Andrew was so reluctant to give her any detail when it came to himself and his personal life. And I think the fact that she did call him out on it was something that was a positive mood for her. Even though it did lead to a bit of an argument, it was a positive step forward, because it showed that she actually does want to pursue something with him and she wants to get to know him better. It's just that he was the one that was reluctant to kind of open up to her, although with very good cause, because again, it's just one thing after the other with her. But I digress. I think it is a positive mood forward, even though it did lead to another, you know, boy problems chat, which Issa was very reluctant to engage in. But at the same time, she was somewhat right in this instance. And I find it very interesting that at the end of the second episode, when Molly is on a jog with Issa, she picks up the phone and it's Andrew, and he's telling her that she was right and that he wants to open up more to her. And Molly doesn't end up telling Issa that it was Andrew on the phone, and she says it was something about work. And that just shows to me that they're seeding in the idea that Molly and Issa's relationship is on the rocks right now. But their friendship isn't just going through hard times because of men, for once, but we actually have another contender for Issa's friendship this season in the form of Consola, and you can definitely see the tension between Molly and Consola. I think mostly on Molly's part, because of course she's so freaking jealous, but she sees Issa thriving and she sees her having this positive and more motivated outlook in her life, and it seems to rub her the wrong way. And I think Molly got comfortable with the idea of Issa always having to rely on her for advice and for someone to talk to about boy problems and all kinds of other problems as well. In a weird way, I think that Molly's friendship with Issa really thrives when Issa isn't doing well and when she's at her lowest point. That's where Molly kind of comes in to save the day like a superhero. But when Issa's actually thriving and actually has something to focus on, Molly just doesn't know what to do with herself, I guess, and she kind of expects Issa to just be there as a sounding board for her own problems as well. But she doesn't know what to do when they're both in a good place, or at least when Issa's in a good place. And I think it's really telling as well that in the first episode we see Consola and Issa complimenting each other and calling each other boss bitches and all of that. Like they're having a really fun time together and having this really positive energy amongst them, whereas Molly is out here accusing Issa of wanting to have a messy life and actually liking the messiness, and she berates Issa for actually being friends with Consola in light of the fact that she's dating Lawrence, and Issa just doesn't even respond, which I think is very telling as well. I think it's a mark of Issa's character development that she did not respond, you know, in a very aggravated or in a very tense way to Molly when Molly accused her of liking the messiness. I think that is a sign of her growth, because she's just choosing to just put that to the side. She's focused on what she wants to do for now, and Molly wants to bring them into that old cycle of, oh, they fight and then they make up and then they fight about the same thing and then they make up. But Issa's like, you know what, it's time to break that cycle. Maybe it's not even a conscious thought, but it's something that she automatically did, and I think again that's just a sign of her growth, and I'm so excited for that. All right, now let's get into some Lawrence here. We won't stay here long, don't worry. He's not one of my favorite characters. Side note, I am so surprised that he became such a huge deal in this series. Like, I fully expected him to just disappear into the sunset after season 1 when they broke up, but he's here. He's here to stay apparently, and he is of course dating Consola at the moment. And at first I was really happy with Lawrence because he told Consola not to break things off with Issa. He encouraged Consola to keep going with their project because he knows that Issa needs this right now. And I think that was very good of him. I think it was very big of him to do so, and I appreciated that about the character. Except now in episode 2 we see that he's starting to realize that their friendship and their connection means that they're going to be talking about him, and he, at least in his words, thinks that Consola should find out more about him through him rather than through his ex, which actually makes perfect sense. He's probably just afraid that she's going to be biased against him and badmouth him, and he wants a bit more control over that narrative, so he's a bit anxious when it comes to their friendship, which is fully understandable. But what isn't understandable is him butting in and telling Issa to like not talk about him whilst they're together. Like, you can't, they're grown adults, you can't control what they're saying. Like, you can't force people to just not talk about you, especially considering, again, I said it once, I'll say it again, but Issa and him dated for 5 years. 5 years, like he was a huge part of her life for 5 years. Of course he's gonna come up in the conversation. And finally, it wouldn't be a new season of Insecure without a show within a show. This season we have Finding LaToya. I've loved these shows. I think they are genius. The idea that the characters just kind of sit around and watch TV and there's this like ongoing show that everyone's obsessed with every single season. My personal favorite so far has been the slave show where the slave is in love with her mom. Listen, it was bonkers. It was absolutely insane. I was like, what do you mean Regina and Scott Foley? What's going on here? But this season we had Finding LaToya, and I know that the people who are featured in this show are famous like American people, but I'm not American. I don't know who these people are. What I do know is that the episodes that were shown in the second episode of Insecure was absolutely amazing. I loved the fact that the police officers put out a search for a Toyota instead of LaToya. And then Lawrence was like, why did they never find us, man? Underneath all of this, there is a very interesting social commentary about how the police treat missing black people as opposed to white people. But at the same time, it's just hilarious. Like, the whole parody is just genius to have in the background of this already interesting show. So that's it from me. Now that I've told you guys my thoughts on Insecure season 4, episodes 1 and 2, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of the episodes down in the comment below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. And remember, the next videos that I'll be posting for Insecure will be my reviews of episodes 3 and 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.